Bonjour, mon nom est Kitty Antoine pour Panem 360. Aujourd'hui, je vais avoir une conversation avec Michael Brun. Michael Brun est de passage à Montréal pour la présentation de son concept Bayo. Bayo qui va avoir lieu ce vendredi, au parc Jean Drapeau dans le cadre d'un off Piknic. Can you talk to me a bit more about that concept, Bayo?
Yeah, definitely. Bio to me is the thing I'm the most proud of in my life that I was able to work on. And I think at the core, it was always about creating a project that's shared. So like bio, when you translate it from Creole, literally means like give it to them to give. And so as a kid, I remember growing up in Port-au-Prince and everything that you'd see on the news about the country and the people was negative, except for the Fugees. So the only exception in all of the world of Haiti, when there was conversation, it was always in a negative way, except for music and what the Fugees did and what Wyclef and like the pioneers at that time. I think of immigrant sound, and I thought that that was so powerful how music could be a vehicle for changing perspectives and also creating a sense of identity and pride in your own culture. And so that was really important to me in the process of me being a DJ and a producer, getting to work with a lot of different artists, doing my own projects, right? Working with artists that were in visual art, dancers, singers, bands, all these different. I noticed that like as a producer and as a DJ, I was able to work with a lot of different types of people. And the conversation would keep coming up that people wanted to find ways to really uplift the country. And so um, I think it's a very Haitian experience, but I realized later it's an immigrant experience and really it's like a shared experience of all of the diasporas globally, right? And so I I realized, okay, if I have the chance to meet all these people and work on projects like this, and I know how to DJ, and I've done my own parties and stuff, I want to come up with a concept that lets all of these different people come together and that creates a genuine community that you can be proud to be part of, and that if you're of the culture, if you're somehow related to Asian culture, you're gonna see yourself somewhere in the show. And if you're not in any way related to Asian culture, and maybe you're visiting, it's the first time experiencing it, I wanted to create a format that really made it accessible so that it can really distill all of the beautiful parts of I think the Haitian experience, the Caribbean experience, the immigrant experience. And so yeah, in a way it's a show. It definitely is like a concert, but it also in so many other ways it incorporates a much bigger format of culture. Like it expands way past even into food and I think that to me that's like when I go to an event, I love going to an event and feeling like I could never I'm so happy I didn't miss it. Like I'm so happy I was there for that moment. I'm so happy I could experience that moment and I think those kinds of experiences really stay with you and they transform you and they expand your mind. So that's what I always try to do for every one of these shows. I don't do them often, but when I do them, I really make sure to make it special.
And while I was preparing that conversation, of course, I know Michael Brun's music. We've been like dancing over it
Mhm.
during all parties, but it's not an overnight success. I realize that, I've been
Mhm.
listening to tracks like 8 years old, 10
Yeah.
years old. I'm like, wow, we don't realize that. And je suis tombée sur la track Bayo.
Mhm.
Est-ce que Bayo, que tu as sorti il y a 8, 9 ans, a
Mhm.
un lien?
2016.
Oui, hein, c'est ça, c'est à peu près 8 ans, 9 ans.
Mhm. Mhm.
Est-ce que ça a un lien avec maintenant, aujourd'hui, le concept que tu fais voyager à travers le monde, Bayo? Est-ce qu'il y a un lien avec cette première track?
It actually was created the same weekend that the first concept, like the V.1 of Bayo, the very first version of the show, was the same weekend that we made the song. So I went from Matenoa in Lagonave, which is the island in the center of Haiti. And I worked with a school there called Friends of Matenoa. It's an organization, and they have it was like a elementary school, but also a music school. And so I met an artist there called Strong G. He's a rapper, and I went there first with Washi Fire from Major Lazer, a group called the Beat Making Lab, Apple Music, and Apple were shooting a documentary. So we went there, worked with the students of the school, and then we flew to Jacmel and worked with the Artist Institute that I'd been working with for a bit. And yeah, just met all these different people. Jay Perry was at the Artist Institute that same time, so introduced him to Strong G, and we all worked together, and the very first version of Bayo was created. And then we went to dinner at a restaurant on the boardwalk at the beach in Jacmel. And after we finished eating, I was like, oh, we should play some music. So I went outside, and then somebody was like, hey, I have my car, we can plug in. And we plugged in the audio into the laptop, turned on the lights in the street with the car, and just started playing music. And people started coming. And then when I saw that, I realized, oh, there's something very special about the feeling of all these different people coming together. And it was a surprise for the public because the people outside in the street, they didn't know what was happening. They're just like, what's that noise? And then they look around and they say, oh, wow, it's like, there's music, there's a performance. And I think it was all linked. And the song, we actually immediately played the song at that show. So I think that, yeah, Bayo, the song, and Bayo, the event, they're like sisters or
Ah,
brothers.
nice. Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
c'est vraiment intéressant de t'entendre l'expliquer. Et là, on
yeah,
comprend encore plus la dimension de rassemblement parce que à chaque événement Bayo, everybody's talking about the lineup. Qui moun kap
yeah,
vini, qui moun
yeah,
kap monte sous scène, qui
yeah.
moun kap chanter. Is it gonna be different for Montreal for a Friday?
Yeah, yeah. I think that that's one of the kind of unspoken parts of the show now is the lineup. I wanted to create an event where the lineup doesn't have to be ever posted. And it's actually like I work really hard to make sure people don't know who's going to perform because I think the experience of Bayo is the experience from the beginning of the performances to the end of the performances. So the entire thing is Bayo. It's not just one artist, one guest. It's everything as a whole. And I'm really grateful because the first shows were a couple hundred people, and now we're getting into places where we played in an arena, we did Barclays Center, we're doing Paul Tapu. It's
It's
like
crazy.
it's like thousands, tens of thousands of people now. So I feel like little by little over the last 9 years, uh, people would come to the show, love it, and invite a friend, maybe invite two friends, maybe invite five friends, and it just grew really organically. And I think every time anybody comes to the show, they don't know who's gonna be there, and I love that. And I love that they buy into the experience, they understand the experience, they understand that it's about the community. So yeah, that's so important to me. I worked really hard on that, and I'm proud to see that people understand and know that whatever they see, they know it's going to be quality. They know it's going to be really special. They know it's going to be like really incredible art. So yeah, no different for this show. And actually, it's the biggest one we've ever done in Montreal. So I can't wait for people to experience.
Wow, yeah, I see you go to extreme length to keep it a secret.
Yes,
And it
yes,
becomes a thing, you know, everybody's talking about that
yeah.
secret. But as I see, it's not your first time in Montreal. You were here last year for Oshiega.
Hmm.
We're here for another Bayo uh,
Hmm.
a few months ago. So I think you have your ins and out in the city. Do you have like your good addresses, like restaurant, bar
Yeah,
shop? You
yeah,
know?
a few. I feel like I really love Montreal. I think it's like one of my favorite cities actually because it's an amazing artist community, and I think that it's something that I actually really admire about that city is how much there is support for the arts and how much like it feels like everybody you meet actually is an artist in a way, in their own way. And so that makes the crowd really passionate. I think when you do shows, you really feel like this is like your peers. Like when you're playing a show in Montreal, it's like it feels really, really special. So I for that reason, just for the show side, it's just always incredible. And then I think the food is amazing. Every time I'm in Montreal, I always pass by to see Chef Paul. And he has a bunch of different restaurants, but I the one that he has on the Place, forgot what it's called, but it's
Kamui.
like yeah, Kamui, Kamui, of
Yeah.
course. So and even before when he had Agricola and yeah, I mean I've been coming back and trying different places,
Before
seeing
that,
different
it was
places.
Agricole.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh,
So
okay, you know the good addresses.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been exploring, and it's cool too. You know, like I feel like I've made a lot of friends out there, and um, yeah, I for sure love the city very much, and it feels like an extension of home.
It's funny that we talk about food because I've been through so many video of yours yesterday, and
Mm.
especially the one with John Legend. I was watching it and I'm like, that saying, you'd never go to grocery stores with an empty stomach.
Yeah, yeah.
Pas
You buy all the
jamais,
wrong
pas
things.
jamais regarder vidéo ça si vous pas manger.
Absolument.
Wow, vous avez
Yeah.
tellement mangé et ce vidéo est vraiment magique et significatif de voir comment John Legend est si généreux et consciencieux aussi de la portée de sa personne, de son influence et comment qu'il a été solidaire avec la communauté haïtienne de Springfield, Ohio, parce que John Legend vient de là. On va pas répéter toute l'histoire, mais c'est vraiment une belle conversation que tu as pu orchestrer avec John Legend, suivi de la collaboration avec Ruchel. Moi, je trouve ça vraiment magnifique. Et en tout cas, dans tout ça, ma question est, ça t'a pas donné envie de créer un cooking show, un food show?
Actually,
Like,
um,
follow me?
I think that yes, but I don't know
On
exactly
a des bonnes adresses à Montréal, hein. Il n'y a pas juste
where.
Chef Paul. Chef Paul, c'est un des très bons. Mais moi, je te verrais vraiment là, beats and food.
Yeah, no, look, I think I love food as much as I love music, and a big part of that is because of my mom. And my mom was very, very passionate about both. And so I think that in her honor, um, I will definitely do something along those lines in the future. And I think with the John Legend conversation, it felt it felt like a conversation that I've had with many friends over the years, but we just filmed it instead. And I think that part of being able to sit at a table and really talk to somebody and talk about a lot of different things, right? You talk about culture, you talk about politics, you talk about history, right? All of those things, I think, really they they're things that naturally, I think, as a human, you gravitate towards, and empathy is at like the core of it. So definitely thinking about it. So I don't have anything to say yet, but I'm working on something
And I
for
have
sure.
to say, you're a great communicator. It's really nice to listen to the conversation. You take the time to explain everything. Oh my God. Okay, let's
Thank
go
you.
back to music.
Yeah.
So for Friday, which song we should absolutely learn to participate? How should we
Mm.
prepare ourselves?
I think from my list of releases in the last 3 years, I actually just put out a collection of songs called Fami Volume One. And so if you go on any platform, you'll find it. And a lot of those songs are gonna be performed at the show. So I can say that. And then of course Bayo. If you don't know Bayo, listen to that. I think the message you can find translated. If you speak Creole, you don't need the translation. But if you don't speak Creole, there's translated lyrics. that you can find online. And I think the lyrics and the message of that song is really important and a reminder of why we're doing what we're doing. So
Mm.
if if you don't know it, please check it out. That's like the anthem of the show.
As a music lover, as a DJ, as a dancer, I really appreciate your mixes because I feel that you understand. You mix for dancers, for
Yeah.
les mélomanes,
Thank you.
just the choices of your songs, the way you mix them. Anyway, you got me when you put some George Michael on a compa beat, you know,
Yes.
you got me all the way.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
all that to say that I think it requires, ça demande beaucoup d'éthique de travail, une très bonne discipline pour pouvoir avoir une bonne connaissance discographique, mais aussi technique. Moi, je remarque beaucoup ta technique. Est-ce que tu pourrais me partager your work ethic, you know, et puis une journée de travail, ça ressemble à quoi pour toi, Michael?
Yeah,
Est-ce que tu travailles tout le temps?
honestly, yes. Honestly, yeah. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I think that what's really helpful is because I kind of feel like I have like five careers because I do DJing for the show, but I also DJed for 15 years of my life. I've been DJing since I was 15, 16 years old, so it's been forever I've been doing that. And I've played thousands of shows now, but I think that that is one part. And then as a producer, I actually work with so many different artists. And sometimes it's for me, but actually most times I produce for other people. And my name is not on the song. My name is as a producer, writer. So I'm always working with artists and I'm always being exposed to new sounds and rhythms and um, just expanding. So I think that that part of the the format of like my life is really helpful because then I do some, a little bit of DJing, a little bit of production, a lot, marketing and figuring out the show concept and then like stage design and then coordinating all the stuff with the different aspects of the show. And now we have like a full-time dance choreographer, Tanyora, and we like work through that. And so I feel like even that, right? Like constantly working with Tanyora and talking about the dance part of the show and like with the music and fitting everything together. It's really helped with creating a very special show. So I I think that the other thing too with DJing is it's kind of like wine. Like it's like the longer it ages, like when you've had more time to just be in the scene and like experience more shows, I feel like your palette and your understanding of music expands. And honestly, the best DJs that I've ever seen, their song selection is really special, even more than the technical. It's the song selection, the timing, and the understanding of like what needs to be at that specific moment. And I think you learn that with experience and with time. So like the best DJs I know are actually like older. They're all like people who've been DJing for a very long time. And so that's such a cool experience to now have been doing even with Bayo, 9 years of Bayo. Um, it's helped. It's helped a lot. So I feel like it makes the show feel. It feels like it has a history, and I feel like when you go to a show with a history, it makes it feel very grounded, rooted, like deep and special.
Mm. When you're close to the culture, you kind of have that. I don't want to say power, but t'as ce genre de sensibilité de
Hmm.
prévoir ce qui s'en vient.
Hmm.
Years back, because I'm a graphic designer, visual artist, I could predict that Africa was the future, you know.
Yeah,
And my team, we could predict that Africa would be like on the map like it is today,
yeah, yeah.
you know, as a culture influencer. You're have all ends in it. What do you see for us in a few years?
I I think that if there's a silver lining to the immigration of Haitians right now and all of the horror stories that we're hearing and the sadness that comes from having to be displaced from your home. If there's a silver lining from it, I think that the stories of all of these people in major cities, right? Miami, Montreal, New York, Boston, Paris, all of these epicenters of culture. And I think like stories that you hear, so many of them are focused on these places. And now Haitians are so deeply ingrained in the culture of all of these places. It's actually really incredible to see at every stage, like not even, of course, with entertainment, and I think there's a lot of examples of breakthrough artists recently that are doing incredible work at international level in entertainment, but even outside of entertainment with doctors, lawyers, chefs, strategists in every kind of career now, right, of Haitian descent. That's going to shape a lot, and I think that that's the thing that's happened in maybe the last 20 years that is now really starting to show itself. And I think it's why you're seeing Haitian culture really starting to influence a lot. And it's unavoidable. And I think in the next few years, it's only going to get more impactful. And maybe there's even some stuff that I'm working on that I can't talk about that's pretty big that's going to come soon. So I feel like the future for Haitian culture is very bright. And I think that's the silver lining for me is the culture survives it all because we find ways to reconnect even if we're displaced, even if we're in different parts of the world, right? But the culture is universal. The culture will keep us connected. That's like our fabric now. And um I feel hopeful. I feel hopeful. And I think that will also give us strength to do more back home in the future too.
Oh, Michael, est-ce que ou ka di san kreol, nou ta remen tout moun yo kompran?
Oui, m gadi sa. So,
Oui.
sa m fek di la, m panse nan mouman sa avèk tout imigran haïtien. E histwa ke nou wè sou imigran haïtien, gen anpil bay ki fè nou vèman tris, ki traumatik. E m panse, mèm nan mouman sa, kote tout bay tris kon sak pozitif la dan, se ke tout imigran ki nan diferent site, tout otou du moun, gwo site yo, Miami, New York, Boston, Montréal, Paris, an pil lot. Sa ka pase koun yan, e pandan peut-être 20 denye zanen yo, nou wè ke gen an pil influence haïtien nan tout kote yo koun yan. E lè wè influence haïtien nan nivou sa, ke nou gen an pil histwa de sikse nan tout domen koun yan, nan tout domen net, internasyonal, nan art, nan dans, nan sport, e nan müzik, e avèk dokteur, avokat, tout bay net, wè ke koun yan influence haïtien, yo pa ka, ou pa ka ale yon kote ou pa wè haïtien. E
C'est
pou
vrai?
mwen men, sa so ba vreman important, paske sa ka kreye, e sa, se pa ke li ka kreye, l'ap kreye, li gen tan ap kreye, an chanjman de kultur, e ke nou wè ke müzik lan ap menen kounyen, ke nou wè an pil sikse nan müzik, an pil sikse nan diferent domen sa yo. E mne ou myo sakan nan sport, gen an pil iswa, ou ka jist mette haisyen, tape haisyen sou Google wapre an pil bay, e mba se pou, si gen an bay positif ki rive pou kultur haisyen, se sa. E mba se avèk tout histwa sa yo, sikse sa yo nan kultur a, nou gen an mouvman kounyen, e nou konekte. E mba se avèk koneksyon sa yo, la kreye an fason pou nou fè chanjman la kanyen. So pou mwen mèm, se kon sa ke mwen pense ke mèm nan mouman difisil sa yo, ke gen an lumiè devan, ke nou ka suiv, ke nou konen ke si nou kontine ap travay, e si nou kontine ap evolye nan sa nap fè, ke nap ka kreye an chanjman nan futur ki vreman imposib pou moun ka ese di non, li pa posib. Non, li posib. Donc moi-même, ça c'est gens que moi c'est vraiment content que Bayo ait un événement, ben plus passer un événement, passer en communauté que tout le monde a vraiment senti inspiré, que a senti que avec on va comme ça que n'importe qui va possible.
Merci en pile, Michael. The future is bright. Le
Yes.
futur est intéressant. Ça va se passer au parc Jean Drapeau pour l'édition Bayo du Off Piknic. Donc, nous serons là. Paname 360 sera là. Merci en pile pour t'y parler ça, Michael. Merci en pile pour tout bail ou fait dans carrière ou et dans communauté.
Merci un peu pour ce support et je vais attendre vendredi.
Bye.